Fine. You know what? Fine. I'll just get back in the goddamn rowboat. Jesus Christ. Yes, it's that time again, and it's time for Hatters to potato around in a boat. I'm sorry it's been so long, but unfortunately, work is work, and luckily today it is actually me instead of someone playing in some epic, hectic replay. I've decided to give you another one of me actually potatoing around like an idiot. So there's plenty of good moments in this one, and to be fair, I actually play fairly well. I'm not going to blow my own trumpet, but I do pretty good in the long run. The way I go about it, maybe not, but you never know. So I've decided to take out the HMS Fiji. This is probably the game, if not one of the games, just before I bought the Edinburgh. So I was pretty used to the boat, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was an excellent ship. Tier for tier, I actually think it's better than the Edinburgh. It's just a strong all-rounder. It's got the smoke, it's got the hydro and the repair. The repair, to be fair, isn't anywhere near as good as the Edinburgh. So I have decided to support my destroyer directly on the cap. Unfortunately for us, the enemy seem pretty well situated. They've already started capping, and unfortunately with them smoking like this, there's nothing much I can do, and if they keep us spotted, which luckily they're not at the moment, then we're going to get absolutely hammered. So I don't want to just abandon my Akizuki there. However, I'm going to take cover behind this island, because something wonderful about British light cruisers is they are light cruisers and they have no armour. So I've decided to smoke here, pop my hydro, I believe I will in a minute as well, in order to just shoot, take some pot shots. But I've got cover right in front of me which I can accelerate into easy enough. And with the hydro I should spot torpedoes. The British ship's pretty good at lobbing rounds over islands, so I'm going to lob rounds at this guy. Now, unfortunately for me, and one of the things I hate about the British ships is their acceleration in forward and reverse is awful when you switch between the two. So you can, well no, tell a lie, the acceleration is great forward, but the changing of speed between forwards and backwards takes absolutely forever. So I finally managed to get myself hanging out in the breeze to shoot at this guy. I've popped my hydro, look, and I'm going to get my own torpedoes away just in the gap there, as a sort of strategic, obvious spot. Now this Miyoko I think is taking really dangerous course of actions with his life, and he's coming straight at us. Now you can see here I've already spotted the torpedoes, but I'm now switching direction from reverse to forward. And unfortunately, this is what I mean about I hate the speed and change of direction. There's nothing I could do here. I maybe could have kept reversing, but I'd already pressed forward and it was sort of too late. I take well over half health damage, and quite frankly, yeah, that was a mistake on my part. Then again, I mean, I was reversing and there was not much I could do. As I say, I could have kept going, but I think I'd already started going forward at that point, so it was not very well played by me there. So I take a nasty hit and I'm already half health down, and I'm going to pretty much stay half health down because unfortunately torpedo damage you can't repair much of. So you can see there, that's all I can repair now, up to about, what's that, maybe 60%. Not the most illustrious start to a game. So the Miyoko now, I want revenge. He's broadsiding to me. I'm in a British ship with armour piercing, and I think, yeah, I can take him out. Unfortunately, it's not to be. And the Atlanta there, with his horrendous rate of fire, manages to absolutely obliterate him. Now, we're going to do some history crafting while I'm edging round the island here. I've decided to go round to flank them because there's too many forces, particularly battleships coming straight through. The HMS Fiji was a real ship during the Second World War. She was one of the, where are we? Learn to read better, learn to remember better. There we go. Crown Colony class ships, and she's actually the only ship in history to ever be named the HMS Fiji. This is because they named it after a bunch of sort of island chains and colonies of the British Empire. The Fiji unfortunately didn't have a particularly happy career. She was launched in, I believe it was 41. Oh no, May the 31st, 1939. I believe it's actually we're close to the anniversary of her sinking, unfortunately, and yes, she did sink, which is such a shame. She got torpedoed fairly early on and got taken back for repairs and upgrading. She then joined Force H in the Mediterranean, where the HMS Gloucester was hit and sunk, or I believe they were trying to save her, and the Fiji and 2 destroyers were sent to help. The enemy attacked so ferociously with aircraft that the Fiji actually ran out of anti-aircraft ammunition, and then 4-inch ammunition as well. So unfortunately, she was sort of stuck out on a limb. She then got hit close by a bomb from a Junkers Ju-88, which blew off the bottom plates and ripped sort of a hole in her port side. She started to list. Her engines were knocked out. She couldn't defend herself, and in the end she was hit again by quite a famous German bomber ace. I believe he won a Knight's Cross of the Iron Cross, Gerhard Brenner. I couldn't find much on him, but anyway, he managed to finish her off. She rolled over and sank, and that was her in 1941, so only a couple of years. A shame, really. The admiral in charge actually said that it was an unnecessary loss. So sad. Back to the game then. I've now flanked the enemy position and popped smoke. So what I plan on doing from here, you can see all the enemy are pointing south towards our ships, and I'm now completely on their flank and free to fire at whatever I like. And the Dunkirk is a beautiful target because it doesn't have much armour, and is presenting broadside. So I'm going to spam away from here. You can see I've popped Hydro again, just in case any of those pesky destroyers decide to torpedo me. This time I've decided to sit stationary, so that if I do decide to reverse or accelerate forward, I can at least do it immediately instead of having to wait for the old switcheroo, which means that if I do spot any torpedoes with the Hydro, I shouldn't get hit by them this time. So I have learned my lesson. So I'm smashing rounds away at this Colorado. I think it's a Colorado. My eyesight's getting bad. Well, no, my eyesight's pretty good, but the way I record, it's just, you know. So I'm going to spam away at these 2 battleships, and I'm going to do as much damage as I can before they edge away. So I'm in a pretty peachy position, and I think this is one of the reasons I wanted to pick out this video and highlight it. It just goes to show I'm pretty damn close to the enemy, and I am out on my own. If you look at the map, there's one friendly in the B cap, but other than that I'm effectively surrounded and there's not really anyone to support me, but I'm getting away with it because British ships are pretty good at this. And here we have an enemy destroyer. Now I don't know if the enemy destroyer has actually seen me and come straight at me. It looks like he might have, but yeah, he got absolutely wrecked, and I believe he didn't even manage to get off his torpedoes, so that's a shame for him. But that's what happens when you come at angry smoke that has a British cruiser in it. You just get annihilated, especially later on when the rate of fire is even more ridiculous. Now this Congo decides to let rip at me, and he's putting in some fairly good shots, and he's going to also turn in, so he knows what he's doing. Unfortunately for me, you don't want to fight a battleship by yourself in the Fiji, and oh no, I didn't spot this coming in. There's a cruiser on my flank as well. So now I've got to deal with one on my flank, a battleship up front. So who to deal with? Of course it's the guy on your flank. You want to get the guy that's got better shots at you, if you have the choice. I mean, I'm not going to damage the battleship really anyway, because it's pointing straight on. So I need to hammer this cruiser and kill him now, because if he gets any good hits, that's me, you know, game over. And at this range, that ship has pretty effective fire, so he gets annihilated, and amazingly I completely get away and he barely hits me. Now this Congo, I think, has just realised what's going on, and he's like, oh Jesus. So I do the I'm playing the sneaky music. Oh crap. He realises I'm going to come straight for him, because, well, I don't think he knows who I am. If he knew who I am, he'd know I was an idiot, so he'd definitely know I was coming straight for him. he decides to do a runner, which is probably the correct thing to do, because if I was going to ram him, I could probably kill him outright. And no one wants to get killed by being rammed unnecessarily. So he's going to run away and keep me as much distance as he can while he hammers with the rear 2 turrets, which is, as I say, probably the correct thing to do. I, however, am just a lucky bastard and managed to get away with it, so I angle out a little bit, fire some torpedoes at him. I think as soon as he sees me turn, he might turn away. You never know. The island, though, I think he's keeping an eye on what he's actually doing, which is good of him. Now, he is damaging me a lot. Fortunately for me, his friends are too busy engaging the ships to the south, so they don't actually engage me, which is pretty funny. He manages to get some pretty decent hits on me there. I repair, and basically I think I've had it at this point. I think, well, if I get 1 or 2 torpedo hits, at least that's something, right? So I get a couple of decent hits there, and a decent torpedo hit where I knock out his steering. So he, I would have said, is repaired. What are we doing? 82, 250? Yeah, he's repaired, which is, you know, obviously he's going to. So I'm shooting away, and I fire my other 3 torpedoes, and I decide to slow down, stop, and smoke up. And even though he's so close, he's not going to be able to spot me. And the torpedoes are well on the way, and they're looking pretty good, those last 2. And now he can't see me. 1 torpedo hit, 2 torpedo hits, and he's already used his repair, so he floods out and dies, which is hilarious. So I've managed to just completely chase the battleship from the rear and kill him. Who knew? I shouldn't have done that. It was a very naughty move, and quite frankly, I should have paid the price for it. However, I completely got away with it. So there's always that. I'm now on just shy of 110,000 damage in a Fiji, a tier 7, which isn't bad at all. And there's plenty more targets to engage. So I take a look up, and I see these 2 over here fiddling around. I believe that's the Dunkirk. And I start thinking, these 2 little islands in the middle, maybe I could do it again. You never know. You know, I'm a sneaky type, me. I like to sneak up on people and get unbelievably close before I engage them. I stopped firing for a bit there, thinking, if he doesn't spot me, I might be able to get even closer. He's facing the other way, his guns, so I decide, well, I may as well let it rip and see what's going on. He looks like he's probably going to dodge behind the islands and miss me anyway. Oh wait, there's more. For some reason he's turning in towards me, which, opposed to what the Congo was doing, is probably the wrong thing to do. I mean, a move's a move. His gun power, all his guns are up front, so maybe he's trying to angle to me, which, to be fair, he is now angled to me, and so I'm not going to be able to do a great deal of damage with these British guns. Now, I believe he's firing HE at me, which is probably the wrong thing to do. I mean, with the amount of health I've got left, to be fair, if he sets a fire, I've probably had it, but then again, I've used my repair now. I've also used heal, so I'm going to use the last little bit of health to get as close as I can and just try and torpedo him to death at the last second. Now, the actions of a battleship, this guy's a bit strange. I would be waiting for me to come around this corner. I don't know about you guys, but there's a cruiser within a couple of K of you. You know he's got torpedoes. You know he's there to try and kill you. You'd be facing him, right? You'd think? But no, this guy, for some reason, his guns have traversed somewhere else. I don't know if that's, you know, a sign of just premiuming and he's bought a premium ship because he wants to play higher tier or what. But sneaky, I do it again and I absolutely obliterate him. And I'm up to 146,000 damage. Again, the exclamation of shit there. And for some reason, I completely get away with this game. I do it twice, 2 battleships charged within a couple of kilometers, and I absolutely annihilate both of them. Because reasons. So, there you go, potatoing around in a boat, done. Hadders achieves great things by playing stupid tactics. Maybe don't try this at home. And that's the end of the game. And there we have it. Another classic run through of how to potato around like an idiot but pull it off anyway, because Hadders, that's why. So you can see I won the game, and this was on one of the special events, so I got a ludicrous amount of XP, so 10,000 XP, decent amount of credits there, and 146,000 damage done. I was also one off a Kraken for all my troubles, which was nice, a couple of defenders, so yeah, you know, all round a pretty good game. I came top, of course. 1,907 is not an amazing base experience. It's certainly pretty damn good. Anything over sort of 1,500 is pretty damn good, but it certainly isn't 2,500 or more, is it? Like some of the games I've featured recently. But you know, I'm happy with that result. Moving on to the next one. We have the damage done to everyone, so you can see the lion's share of damage, and in fact almost all the damage, is to those two battleships, the Dunkirk and the Congo. 60,000 damage to the Dunkirk effectively, and 54,000 to the Congo. So almost both of their entire healths. And then the others, you know, I just did a little bit of damage here and there, a little bit of kill stealing on the York and the T-22 there, a bit of damage on the Gneisenau and the Dragon. So all around a good game. I certainly enjoyed it, and I think it came out pretty well considering. The final screen then, so this is what I managed to get from the game. 245,000 credits profit, because I'm a premium whore. 10,000 experience, which is excellent. 20,973 commander experience, so good. Because I've got all the modifiers on there, the Dragon Flag, you can see the Zulu Hotel. It's just amazing, and as an aftermath of a game like that, you know, it was a good result. And like I said, from this, I believe I bought the Edinburgh. So, I've been Hadders. I hope you enjoyed. I hope to be back a lot more lately. From what I can see, things are easing up on the calendar now, so hopefully I will have more videos for you guys. I can't promise anything, but you know, fingers crossed. The thought is there. So thanks for sticking with me, guys. But as I say, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all soon.